Yeah. Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Bienvenue ici à Ottawa Sud, à l'aéroport d'Ottawa. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered today on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe peoples. I think collectively we wish to recognize the long history of First Nations and Métis people in Ontario, and we pay our respect to them today. My name is David McGuinty. I am the Member of Parliament for Ottawa South. I'll be your host for today's proceedings. I have the distinct honour of having the Ottawa Macdonald-Cartier International Airport located here in my electoral district. This airport is a major local economic engine for our entire region, and the Government of Canada has provided significant funding over the past few years, including $4 million from Transport Canada's Airport Critical Infrastructure Program for the rehabilitation of the pavement on 5 distinct taxiways. That investment helps ensure continued safe airport operations for passengers, airline crews, and airport workers. That was in addition to $6.4 million announced in 2021 under the Airport Critical Infrastructure Program, again, for the construction of the LRT station, the light rail transit station at the airport, and $5.6 million from Transport Canada's Airport Relief Fund during the critical years when we were all dealing with the COVID pandemic. So we have good news, more good news for you here this morning. I'm extremely pleased to be here with my very good friend and colleague, the new Minister of Transport, Pablo Rodriguez, and making this important announcement today. Please join me in welcoming Minister Pablo Rodriguez to speak. Minister.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David. Salut tout le monde. Hey, everyone. Alors, David, Marie-France, vraiment content de vous voir ici. Michael, great to meet you and the team. This is my very first announcement as Transport Minister, so it's a big moment for me. Thank you for being here, guys. Donc, je le disais, c'est ma première annonce en tant que ministre du Transport. C'est pas la première fois que je participe à une annonce de transport. J'ai été souvent avec mon collègue Omar Algraba pour parler du train à grande fréquence. Et je commence à connaître la gare centrale de Montréal comme le fond de ma poche. Alors, des annonces comme celle-ci, il y en a plusieurs. Il va y en avoir beaucoup d'autres parce que le transport dans un pays comme le Canada, avec d'immenses distances, des communautés éloignées, c'est absolument crucial. On sait tout ça. We all know this, and it goes without saying. Essential, and if we have supply chains that don't work, well, it drives up prices, and families don't need that right now. So that's why, with the work we're doing here in Ottawa, in the north, and across the country, our government continues to make life more affordable for Canadians. Alors, le projet qu'on annonce aujourd'hui, ça va agrandir la zone de chargement des camions où les files d'attente ont créé de la congestion dans le passé. C'est quelque chose qu'on va éliminer. Ça va aussi permettre de régler les problèmes de capacité, là où on a besoin de plus d'espace d'entreposage. And most importantly, this project will concretely help those who live in the north where supply chain access have an even more profound effect. So without further ado, I'd like to announce that our government is providing nearly $11 million for a new cargo shipping facility here at the Ottawa Airport for Canadian North. I think this is great news, not only for the company, but for the North and for all Canadians. So this project will double Canadians' North capacity in Ottawa. Et des chaînes d'approvisionnement robustes, plus robustes, c'est encore plus essentiel pour les communautés nordiques. Ça répond concrètement à leurs besoins. Donc, avec un investissement de près de 11 millions de dollars, ça va permettre de réduire les délais, d'augmenter la connectivité entre les différents modes de transport, de doubler la capacité de Canadian North ici même à Ottawa. Et la nouvelle installation va être aussi équipée d'un système de manutention du fret moderne, plus écologique, qui va améliorer l'efficacité et réduire la pollution. Encore une fois, l'un des objectifs de notre gouvernement. Le financement va également permettre d'améliorer le système de réfrigération pour le rendre plus éco-énergétique. So it's good for the environment. That's extremely important for all of us, for the company, for the government, for Canadians. It will make it easier to preserve goods like foods, medications that need to reach Canadians' northern communities. And the new facility will also include a backup power service to ensure continuity of service during severe weather events, which was a challenge before. And all of these improvements, when you put them together, they will considerably improve the way we transport goods headed towards remote northern communities. And I can also add that Canadian North is one of the largest employers in Nunavut, and it's 100% Inuit-owned. And that's absolutely remarkable. With northern hubs in Iqaluit and Yellowknife, and its main base here in Ottawa, the Ottawa Airport, Canadian North is an important part of the supply chain for the North. I would even say a crucial part for the supply chain in the North. So this new facility is a lifeline for fresh food, medicine, for Nunavut and Iqaluit, and this investment is going to support reduced costs and food insecurity. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank the company for your commitment to the communities you support. Et tant qu'à être là, hein, parce qu'on est là, on va continuer avec les bonnes nouvelles. On aime ça les bonnes nouvelles. Alors, on en a d'autres. Aujourd'hui, il y a un projet pilote qui va commencer ici même à l'aéroport d'Ottawa. Je vois déjà des gens sourire ici dans la foule, même les journalistes. Alors, le nouveau programme appelé Voyageurs vérifiés, qui a commencé il y a quelques semaines dans d'autres aéroports du pays, bien, il arrive enfin à Ottawa. It's coming here. So, eligible travelers, such as Nexus members who will have dedicated lines for security checks, and they'll be able to keep their laptops and liquids in their carry-on, so they don't have to take it out, laptops and liquids. So I hope I can be an eligible traveler someday. That's good news, guys, right? So I know that the Ottawa Airport has been eagerly waiting for the program to launch here as well, and the big day has arrived. Ta-da! Right? And I think it's an important moment for our airport, Ottawa Airport. So if you look at it, whether it's improving the experience for passengers through the Verified Traveler Program, giving Canadians a more reliable, efficient, and green mode of transport with the high-frequency rail project, or strengthening our supply chain with investments like today's, our government will continue our work to ensure that Canadians can rely on transportation systems that conform to the higher standards, because Canadians deserve no less. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for sharing this great news, not just for Canadian North, but for our traveling public. I'd like to now invite Michael Rodyniuk, President and CEO of Canadian North, to the podium. Mr. President.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and such a beautiful day to be here with you. Thank you all for coming out today and helping us celebrate a very, very significant announcement for Canadian North, as we literally double down on our cargo capacity going north and the support going to the north. But first, I want to thank the Minister for his support, and it's not lost on me that this is his first announcement, and it's in support of our great Arctic northern frontier. So, Minister, thank you very much for your support and for being here today. And congratulations, Pablo, on your appointment to Minister of Transport. We look forward to a long, successful relationship working with you. A big shout out to our team. You may see some of them around today. I want to acknowledge Shelley DeCaria, our Vice President responsible for marketing, distribution, and communications, who set all this up. She's got a great team of people that work with her, but our team is really the group that makes all of this happen, gets these aircraft loaded and moving, and everybody from the cargo ramp workers to the pilots and the flight crews, everybody makes this happen in the north. It's a huge milestone for Canadian North because we move a lot of cargo. Some 25 million kilos of cargo gets moved to the north every year. And that has to come from the south and it has to move to the north. Everything that goes north, all of the daily essentials, medications, perishable foods, anything that you can imagine for daily life has to go on in a machine like the one behind me, a dedicated cargo aircraft that carries goods to the north. The plane behind me is a very unique aircraft. It's a 737-400. It's recently modified to be a dedicated cargo, and it takes about 50,000 pounds worth of cargo to the north every day. The federal support that we've received from Transport Minister Rodriguez and Transport Canada is going to be matched by our shareholders, dollar for dollar, so that $11 million that was brought to us by the Government of Canada with our gratitude is going to be matched by the shareholders of Canadian North. And 100% of our shareholders, the two groups, are Inuit. So it's very important that the Inuit are recognizing the need for improvements to infrastructure, and they are stepping up and making it happen. The livelihoods of the people in the north is something that sometimes is overlooked, and it's something that we take very seriously, and therefore we make certain that we have the infrastructure and the capability to deliver up north with these types of aircraft as you see behind me. The climate change environment that's happening in the north means that we have to be sustainable and we have to be focused on making certain that we have the infrastructure able to manage the cargo going north. A lot of that requires refrigeration. Some of it requires freezers as well. We will have a facility that's state-of-the-art. It will be utilizing renewable technology wherever possible, but it will also have redundancies for things like the storms that we've recently seen coming through our home here in Ottawa. So with that, I'd like to again thank Minister Rodriguez and his team for being here today. We also thank all of our team at Canadian North on behalf of our shareholders and our entire team. Thank you for being here today, Minister, and we wish you a great day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rodyniuk. I'd like to now turn it over to Valérie Glazer. Valérie, where are you? There you are. Raise your hand if you might. She's the Director of Communications to Minister Rodriguez, and she will now moderate a question and answer session. Valérie. Nope.
Okay, thank you, David. So we're going to start the Q&A with media. It's one question, one follow-up, and we're going to take question first about the announcement and after that on other topics. Donc, on va commencer la période de questions. C'est une question de suivi, puis on va commencer avec les questions sur l'annonce d'aujourd'hui et ensuite sur les autres sujets. So, do we have a first question about today's announcement?
Hi, Minister. Chris Rand, CBC. Good to see you. I'm asking this question in both languages, please. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Chris Rand, CBC. Asking you about high-frequency rail. It's been a promise of your government since you came into power. It seems to have taken a very long time to get anywhere. Are the airlines, is Air Canada, is WestJet, is Porter lobbying against high-frequency rail and trying to slow this down to remove their competition? And if we could just wait till that regional jet goes by, please. And if you could answer in both languages. So high-frequency rail, is it being slowed down by the airlines to remove competition as Canada's population grows and needs such a thing?
Well, I'll answer in both languages. It's no, no.
So what will you do to advance high-frequency rail?
It is moving. And it's a very important question, Chris, because this is a priority for the government, I would say for all Canadians. I had the privilege to make an announcement a couple of weeks ago. So we're making regular announcements. We announced the 3 groups that will be vetting, so the process will start very soon. And as you know, we've put some money aside. We're in direct contact with stakeholders all across where the line will go. And it is an absolute priority for all of us. And as you know, we've asked for 2 scenarios. We want one scenario, which was a typical high-frequency rail, and one that could go a little bit faster. And if we have the means, we may go there, but it has to be something that Canadians can afford.
Et français aussi?
Alors, le train à grande fréquence est une priorité absolue. On travaille dessus depuis très longtemps. Il y a peu de temps, on a annoncé les trois consortiums qui se sont qualifiés. Maintenant, on va procéder à l'appel d'offres. Et dès que ça va être fait, on va bouger très rapidement parce que c'est une priorité pour tous. On est en constante communication avec les intervenants tout le long du trajet également. Donc, le projet avance. Il avance et on va aller le plus vite possible. On a aussi demandé 2 scénarios aux 3 consortiums qui ont été retenus. Le scénario typique d'un train à grande fréquence, mais aussi un scénario où ils nous proposent un train qui irait un peu plus vite, mais évidemment, si on peut se le permettre. Il faut que les Canadiens aient le moyen de se permettre ce scénario-là. Thank you for the question.
Bonjour, Monsieur le ministre. Valérie Gamache de Radio-Canada. Bienvenue dans vos nouvelles fonctions.
Merci.
Mais je vais vous ramener dans vos anciennes
Ben, voyons
quand même.
donc.
Ben oui, pour vous parler du C-18, depuis que vous avez quitté, bon, il y a Meta qui bloque l'accès à des Canadiens aux nouvelles locales. Il y a les médias qui s'adressent au bureau de la concurrence. Est-ce que vous avez laissé un paquet mal ficelé à votre successeur et est-ce qu'il y a des voies de sortie en dehors des tribunaux?
Ben, on y va avec ça?
Oui.
OK. Alors, on va laisser le bureau de la concurrence faire son travail, mais ce que Meta fait est absolument inacceptable. Ils sont dans une position de quasi-monopole. On a vu qu'il y a 500 salles de nouvelles à peu près dans le pays qui ont fermé leurs portes. Donc, notre démocratie qui s'affaiblit. Et on demande à Meta de payer leur juste part. Point. Pas plus, pas moins. Et ma collègue pourra en dire beaucoup plus, puisque c'est celle qui pilote le dossier, mais je pense que lorsque j'ai quitté, il y avait de très bonnes discussions avec Google. Mais c'est rien de surprenant qu'ils résistent. Ces géants du Web-là n'ont jamais été réglementés. Ils l'ont jamais été. C'est comme on dit en anglais, le free-for-all. Et ils n'en veulent pas de règlement. Mais une société ne fonctionne pas comme ça, donc il faut aller de l'avant.
Et pouvez-vous répondre en anglais également à cette question?
Yeah, well,
In English, too.
we'll let the Bureau get to their conclusions, but what Meta is doing actually, it's absolutely unacceptable. They're in a totally dominant position, quasi-monopoly. Here, we saw there are almost 500 newsroom closed the door across the country. So this is hurting our democracy on a daily basis. So we're asking Meta to contribute their fair share, not more, not less, but their fair share. And now it's in the hands of my very competent colleague, Pascal, and I'm sure she's going to do a great job. We had good conversations with Google when I left, but you have to understand that, and we've seen it elsewhere, and we'll see it in the future. These the tech giants, they don't want to be regulated. They've never been. It's a bit the Wild West, but a society doesn't work like that. You need regulations.
Et j'aimerais vous entendre en titre de lieutenant du Québec sur l'offensive de M. Poilievre au cours des derniers jours, ses publicités, entre autres celles de sa femme. Est-ce que, comme lieutenant du Québec, ça vous inquiète, cette offensive-là des conservateurs? Est-ce que vous avez l'impression que s'ils arrivent avec une campagne à ce moment-ci, c'est parce qu'ils ont une chance peut-être de vous déstabiliser dans certaines circonscriptions? Bien,
j'ai vu qu'ils essayaient de changer d'image, mais vous pouvez changer de contenant, mais c'est le même contenu. On parlait tantôt des géants du Web. Les conservateurs prennent les lignes, ils prennent les talking points des géants du Web plutôt que défendre le milieu du journalisme. Ils ont pris les lignes des géants du Web plutôt que défendre le milieu de la culture. Ils nous disent qu'on dépense trop, donc ils vont couper, mais ils ne disent pas où ils vont couper. Alors, ils peuvent même changer de look s'ils veulent, mais c'est le même contenant, c'est le même discours. You're keeping me busy, man. Well, I've seen some of the changes that they want to bring, but it's the same product, right? You can change. How do you change the contenant? You can change the packaging if you want. That's what they're trying to do. You can change the packaging, but not the content. So, if you look at the Conservatives' position defending the tech giants, that doesn't work in Quebec. If the position they took instead of defending our culture and defending once against the tech giants, that doesn't work in Quebec. So they can change the package as much as they want. But that doesn't change the content. And the content is not something that the Quebecers want.
Hi, Minister Mackenzie Gray with Global. You said it's your first announcement of transport, so we'll go back to heritage again for you. Since you've left the department, the situation with the Online News Act has really gone downhill. Meta's blocking more news. You've got the Competition Bureau complaint now. Do you have any regrets about how you personally handled the situation of the legislation itself?
Not at all. We did we did the right thing, and we're not the only ones in the world. You've seen Australia doing that in the past. California has tabled the same bill. It passed in the House, now it's in the Senate. The U.S., Washington wants to move ahead with a bipartisan bill similar. I had conversations with other countries. I'll let my colleague Pascal go more into the details, but status quo is not an option. Newsrooms are closing their door. So many of our colleagues, people that you know, lost their jobs. So many news outlets closed. This is hurting our democracy. We're just asking them to pay their fair share. Not more, not less, just their fair share.
On today's announcement, you said in your remarks that there's going to be some kind of project at Ottawa to be able to keep your liquids and your laptops in your bags. Is that correct? When can Canadians expect that that will be the status quo at all airports across the country and rules like that will be changed to make it easier for travelers to go through security?
Well, it's actually in place in 6 airports, if I'm not mistaken. So we're testing this here, which becomes the 7th airport. I think that Halifax is coming now soon as the 8th airport. So in the other places, it's permanent now. So here, as a pilot project, and when it's tested, it works well, it's going to become permanent.
Bonjour, Monsieur le ministre, Francis Rochon, TVA Gatineau. À travers tout le bruit, j'ai un peu de difficulté à comprendre lorsque vous parliez du projet pilote Voyageurs vérifiés, si je ne me trompe pas.
Oui, c'est ça.
Est-ce que vous pouvez détailler un peu
Oui.
là-dessus?
Le projet pilote, qui est une excellente nouvelle ici pour la région d'Ottawa, il est en place actuellement dans 6 aéroports de façon permanente. Là, il arrive ici comme projet pilote un 7e aéroport, puis Halifax arrive comme un 8e aéroport, projet pilote bientôt également. Ça permet une ligne où il y a des voyageurs vérifiés. Vous allez passer beaucoup plus vite parce que vous avez pu enlever votre laptop de votre sac, vous avez pu enlever vos liquides de votre sac. Évidemment, il faut respecter la dimension moins de 100 millilitres, mais vous avez pu à vider votre sac. Donc ça vient accélérer la file, ça vient sortir aussi des voyageurs de la ligne régulière parce que c'est une ligne qui leur est dédiée. Donc on accélère ici et on accélère la ligne régulière. C'est une bonne nouvelle pour tout le monde.
Et votre gouvernement parlait aussi d'amener les scanners plus inclusifs dans les aéroports. Il y a un projet pilote, si je ne me trompe pas, à Calgary qui avait commencé là-dessus. Est-ce que ça avance de ce côté-là? Est-ce qu'on prévoit amener ça aussi à l'aéroport?
C'est une bonne question. Je n'ai pas les données là, pour l'instant. Je viens d'arriver, mais c'est quelque chose qu'évidemment, on veut implanter partout. Oui.
Okay, merci.
Merci.
Other questions? D'autres questions? Okay, so I will pass it on to David for closing remarks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Merci, Valérie. I also wanted to mention, I omitted to mention that Marie-France Lalonde, the outstanding MP from Orléans, is with us here this morning and was very influential in helping to bring this to fruition as well, part of our team in the region. So, folks, this concludes our program this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. To all of the team from Canadian North, thank you for your service. Thank you for your heavy lifting. We know the work that you do, how essential it is for Northern Canada. We're very proud of this announcement today. We're very proud of you and the work that we're doing as we keep this country together. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.